guys, please. Gordie Johnson is in the house. Shaun Verreault in the house. The Q presents Big Sugar at Club 919 in the Strathcona Hotel. Tonight's special guest, Widemouth Mason. Thought that was kind of a good way to start things off, eh?
All right. Your Honor, I have. I feel like I would have to be sworn in first before I give my testimony.
Our lawyer's our drummer, and we forgot him.
I know. I didn't do it. I swear, dude. It wasn't me.
Gordie, where's the double neck Gibson? I wanted to see this.
They're
thing
down
up close.
they're down at the venue, getting tuned up and shined up, and ready for me to.
Now, this is a long rock and roll show tonight for both of you because, Gordie, you play bass for Widemouth Mason.
Yeah.
And then, Shaun, you and Staff are coming back out for the Big Sugar set. So this is, 3.5 hours, 4 hours of music?
Well, just play till people are sick of it, which doesn't, see, they never get sick of it. That's how the show ends up being so long.
It's a snake eating its own tail, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, we just... we set out on this whole mission with the idea that, we weren't going to have first and second class citizens. There's no business class. It's all business class. We're all riding in the same bus. The crew eats off the same catering as the band. There's no opening act. There's the two bands. We're all family. We've known each other our entire careers. So it doesn't make any much sense to me to have Widemouth gets a little dressing room and we get a big one. It's like, wait a minute. I'm in Widemouth now.
Yeah.
I want us to have, let's just have one big dressing room and one big party. Just make it better for the audience, I think.
You guys were at the Commodore the other night. That's a legendary place. The Q Shane K was there. What's the Commodore like these days?
2 sold out nights. It was insanity. What a wonderful start to the tour. I mean, we had a 14-piece mariachi band walk out on stage and start jamming with us. You know what I mean? It's like, and this wasn't real. I mean, I knew it was probably going to maybe happen. We didn't really plan it.
Probably, maybe. What does that mean?
I mean, I ran into those dudes on the road somewhere. I was like, hey, if we're ever in Vancouver, man, you could bring your big hats and just come on out and jam with us, man. It was just like, friendly.
And then ta-da!
Ta-da, I'm here. Amazing. Of course, the crowd didn't know what hit them.
Well, maybe if we have any mariachi bands tonight, anybody listening to the Q, Club 919 in the Strathcona Hotel, ask for Ryan at the front door and we'll take you around.
We could work it out, man.
Kind of maybe planned.
If they can play Turn the Lights On, they're in.
Now, the last time we saw you guys in town, Shaun, you opened up for Widemouth Mason. You opened up for ZZ Top.
Right. Yeah.
Was that just a couple of dates on the
No,
West,
it actually
West Coast,
it's a good segue. That's how we ended up playing with Gordie. We had been doing some pre-production for a new Widemouth record, and right about the time our original bass player decided to leave the band, we got a call saying there's a couple and a half weeks of touring with ZZ Top that's been offered to you, and we accepted, and then went, all right, what are we going to do for the bottom end? So we called our good friend Gordie and said, look, you know a lot of musicians. Perhaps you know someone who'd be... And at this stage of the game, it's not just about who's a great bass player and who knows how to handle the situation. It's also the other 22 hours of the day. You're in a vehicle or you're in a hotel and you have to hang out with them. We want it to be someone who's a bro who we can hang out with. And he suggested himself, and we took him up on that. So
some dudes go on fishing trips. I'm going with the boys going fishing, or we're going to Vegas. No, we got in a tour bus and went on tour with ZZ Top for the summer. It was the best. It was the best.
So great.
Yeah.
Had you met ZZ Top before? Because you've been living in Boston,
in Texas.
Right?
I had the pleasure to record Billy Gibbons once I flew to L.A. and got to engineer a session with him, and I know him from just around Texas. He was a big fan of my other band, Grady, as it turns out, and he was also a Big Sugar fan before that. So we hit it off with him pretty good. Yeah. We ended up sort of lost and in need of a taxi in a couple of Western Canadian cities over the course of the tour. It's like we're in the back of a taxi with with Billy Gibbons, and we're all hammered. So what? Who's going to believe me back home when I tell them? I mean, but in fact, I think we ended up in the back of a pickup truck being spirited around Winnipeg one night.
That was a beautiful moment. Walking out and bouncers going, "Okay, Mr. Gibbons, where's your limousine?" It's right there. It's like a 70s pickup truck full of stuff. Just someone who offered to drive us around.
It's her fishing truck. And Billy's about to hop in the back of this old truck with a battered, cracked plastic old topper on the back of it, paint cans and drop cloths and stuff. It's like, I don't think the tour manager wants to know about this until
I think
way
if anyone's
later.
earned shotgun.
Yeah, I think we'll give Billy Gibbons shotgun, sure.
And it's funny, we wrote a song about that. We when we were here doing the ZZ Top date, we did perhaps the only doubleheader of ZZ Top and Warren G that anyone's ever done in history. So after playing the ZZ Top show, we went to Club 919, where we're playing tonight, and saw some West Coast G-Funk. Yeah. And we were looking around, and I'd had this song idea for a while, and it kind of felt like, okay, what kind of song could we do that would be true to our roots as the band who just played with ZZ Top, but could make this room full of 20-year-olds here on a Friday night dance? What could we do that would do that? So I started having this musical idea, and then the epic night in Winnipeg, we just started, either on a phone or on a scrap piece of paper, lines that would come up or things people would say, and the spirit of it just ended up on paper, and those things came together, and the song was written. So the song's called Get a Hold of You. It's the second song on the record, and every time I play it, I think of crawling out of that topper of the 70s pickup truck and seeing Billy Gibbons crawl out. Yeah.
Funny.
Big Sugar at Club 919 in the Strat tonight, and Wide-Mouth Mason. Let's play something from RPM. This is the Q Afternoon Show. Roads ahead, Big Sugar right here on the Q, and Gordie Johnson from Big Sugar, and Shaun Verreault from Wide-Mouth Mason here on the Q Afternoon Show. The show tonight, Club 919 in the Strathcona Hotel. That crazy keyboard line. When did that come into the production? Was it something right from the start, or was it a guide in the production, or what?
You mean, was it on purpose?
Yeah,
or did we forget to take it out?
No, it's
yes,
kind of
it was on purpose.
Weird lyrical line to it.
This Big Sugar record is actually, believe it or not, it's the first Big Sugar record where, even though we were in a studio, we didn't really use it like a studio. Everyone's set up, and we all played at the same time. So it's real reactive, and interactive between everybody. Everyone else's part influenced each other while we were recording it. So it's not like we put overdubs and things like that on it. It was really live off the floor. We really wanted to capture the essence of what Big Sugar sounds like right now, so. And that's, obviously, it's stating the obvious, there's a lot of Jamaican influence in Big Sugar's music. And those kind of keyboard sounds come right out of some old reggae records, And so I only put it in there because I think it's cool. I didn't particularly think everyone would agree with me, but that's just the kind of guy I am.
How do you get such a great drum sound on your recordings? Like you produced Stu and the new Wide-Mouth Mason record, but how do you get that Gordie Johnson great drum sound? Because to me, that's what always stands out in your production.
It's a tablecloth. It's a tablecloth over the drum kit. It's a funny little trick. And I actually had, Bruce Fairbairn called me up, legendary producer, called me up at my hotel one day. I've never spoken to the man, never met him, and I got a call from him, and it's Bruce Fairbairn for you on the phone. I'm like, somebody named Bruce Fairbairn, or actually Bruce Fairbairn? And was there, he said, hey, I'd love you to come by my studio. I'm like, cool, man. Oh, are you kidding me? Wow, I'm going to ask him about this and this. And I had all these questions. I was going to try and get some of his techniques and stuff. The whole time I was there, all we talked about was, so how are you getting those drum sounds? Him asking me, how are you getting the drum sounds? I'm embarrassed to say it's just a tablecloth.
Seriously, is a tablecloth over what part of the drum?
The drums, the part you hit. Because it's, guys, you don't hold back the laughter. Go ahead, it's funny. What it does, it makes the drums way quieter, so the drummer's got to hit them a little harder. And they're still kind of quiet because they're all dampened down. But because you're putting microphones on them, you have to crank the mic pre's on the recording desk. It's essentially the same trick as plugging into a guitar amp and cranking it really loud, and then you get that nice chunky distortion, and that's why rock and roll sounds the way it does, because you're abusing equipment. Amps aren't meant to do that. Distortion is not preferred by the manufacturer. That's you're tricking it into doing something it's not supposed to do. So I'm essentially doing that with acoustic things like drums by making them quieter than they should be. So I'd have to really rail the mic pre's, and then it just heats the whole thing up.
But mentioning loud guitars, you do just like old-fashioned overdriving the hell out of things.
I plug it in and crank it up.
I think that when I saw you guys in Duncan, this is like 10 years ago, you guys blew the house PA. The guy was running around like, oh my God, they blew the PA.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Some of that's volume, and some of it. Everyone has one friend who's, let's call him that guy, and if someone goes to take a picture of them, they can take a picture of everyone else, but then the camera will jam when they're taking a picture of that guy. Or they'll get in an elevator and it will break, or someone's luggage will be lost.
Will be canceled, or the hotel room will...
Well, this was the first taste I had of loud Big Sugar. From like the second album, and you don't play that anymore, do you? Ride Like Hell?
Oh yeah, we played it last night in Nanaimo.
Okay, play it tonight. Love to hear it.
Well, that's all you have to do is ask.
Excellent. Okay, Big Sugar and Wide Mouth Mason tonight, Club 919. Thanks for coming, guys.
Our pleasure.
Ready for the show. Let's play something from Smile that was produced by Gordie for Wide Mouth Mason. This is the cue.
This is the Islands Rock.